Our first question is coming from Jamie at Sci-Fi Vision. Jamie, you may go ahead and unmute.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for talking to us. So what was it that brought each of you to the project? What interests you in the beginning?
That's you.
Well, I guess I'll start. Of course, I have a long relationship with Lifetime. I love doing these Christmas movies. I think they are just the most lovely, feel-good movies that transcend generations, transcend so many different things. They give hope and joy. And I was really excited to have the opportunity to work with my husband, just to be completely honest. We were paired. Daniel isn't here. Daniel Lewis, was our executive producer, who kind of brought Angela in. And we just wanted to do a really great movie, and we wanted the opportunity to work together while doing it. And it was funny because with COVID and everything, it kind of pushed the project back. However, I think that, when things happen and their timing is always the perfect timing. So it created the perfect storm for us to make a really great little movie.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. I'll say I was very excited about working with Keshia again. We had done a movie a while back, and also working with Patty. I mean, I really was looking forward to that. I was thinking maybe she would bring some sweet potato pies to the set, but we got no sweet potato pie.
Oh yeah, and like Keshia said, Daniel reached out to me, and they had sort of this idea about wanting to do a story that featured a Black family in New Orleans, and I live in New Orleans, and so it was the opportunity to co-write something and direct it. So it was exciting.
Anything to add, Brad?
Yeah, I one of the other things aside from getting to work with lovely stars like these people are the backdrop of this story. Yeah. We knew it was going to be fun. It's a fun city. It's so vibrant, and just getting to express that during the holiday season is a big deal.
Thank you, all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Up next, we have Mike Hughes. Mike, please unmute.
Yeah, a question in a minute, but first of all, for the three actors, just a show of hands, did any of you think that was pronounced praline before you made the movie?
What, any of us had praline?
No, you did. You thought it was pronounced praline. I've ordered praline pecan.
Yeah, we learned real fast.
Okay.
New Orleans.
I was totally startled by that. So I just thought that was a good example of learning things about Nashville. So just tell us what else about Nashville just was interesting to you, as much as you thought you knew about it, it just surprised you.
Well, it was about New Orleans.
New Orleans, I'm sorry, yeah.
No. We filmed some in New Orleans. And I think, New Orleans almost becomes a character of itself. Just the history of it, the culture, the music, the food, all of that very much kind of plays into the backdrop of this movie and almost become a very important character along with the actual actors who are on screen.
Yeah, including the architecture, which is something that was brought out very well in the script, I thought. That you could explore the city, not just from the fun stuff, but also the historic value.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thanks.
Wonderful, thanks, Mike. Up next, we have So Unique magazine. So Unique, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, like Grace, sometimes we can be so strong and independent that we inadvertently pull away from family and community without realizing it. Can any of you relate to this?
Sounds like you want to take that one?
Yeah, well, I mean, in our business, sometimes you get lost in the work, and family often has to take are forced to take a back seat, and you always kind of look back, and I mean, you hate to say you regret it because you also desire and want to work, but that does create sometimes some conflicts.
Thank you.
Can I add to that? One thing we say is that friends are the family you choose. Mm-hmm. And even in doing projects like this, we put in our particular wish list for the people we want to spend these times with, and especially during the holiday season. Like, if you got to be working, you want to be working around Tim Reid and Patti LaBelle and Angela Tucker. It makes all the difference in the world.
And I have to say, business is personal to us. And it's important for us to surround ourselves with people who share like and kind energy and, outside of the talent piece. And we love the opportunity to work together just for that reason.
Thank you guys so much. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Jamie Steinberg. Jamie, go ahead and unmute.
Thanks, guys, so much for your time. And Brad, thanks so much for your service. It really means a lot to me.
Absolutely. I don't know how to respond to that.
And I'm sure you never do and never get to.
Exactly.
Keshia, this is such a special film. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. Talk about working with the icon, Patti LaBelle.
We can't leave Tim Reid out of that conversation. Both of them, it was a pleasure. Randomly, Tim, why am I in Winnipeg right now working? That's the movie. We worked on a movie several years ago here in Winnipeg, and yes, there's snow outside. But it was very exciting when we were rounding out this cast. It was a no-brainer to include, Mama Patti and Mr. Tim Reid over here. Just the legacy of the work that they've done and the people they are speaks volumes. And when the choices came down the line of, people who we had the opportunity to choose, it was a clear and easy decision. With Mama Patti, I've worked with her since when I was a very little girl. So the opportunity to do it again, I absolutely jumped at. And I'm one of those people, even when you're starring, executive producing, all of those things, I want to surround and build up a cast that is so amazingly talented in their own right. Because all that does is elevate the project as a whole. When you have so many icons, so many people who are masters of this craft in one project, you can't go wrong. And of course, it's birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jamie. Up next, we have Monica.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to talk with you guys today. Keshia and Brad, you guys are so adorable in your little square. I wanted to ask you, this is kind of for everybody in terms of, well, I guess for Keshia first, in terms of writing, directing, like all of that kind of stuff, what do you do to make sure that it's not an overly corny, right? It falls into all those tropes of like a holiday kind of cheesy movie. And then for the actors like Tim, Brad, Angela, all of you guys, and obviously Keshia, you guys do such a fantastic job in this film at not doing that. And it's such a beautiful, soulful movie. So as actors, how do you guys build that soul into the film and make sure that you stay away from those kind of corny, holiday films?
I think you have to start with authenticity. In any and everything that I do, the honesty, the authenticity. And also it was important for us to show, a lot of times, we'll do these movies and they won't culturally reflect who we are as African-American people. And we have a culture that's all our own, that is very specific, that when people, when my cousins or, family watch it, they see themselves in it. And that is so, so very important. Seeing that like kind role modelship, it opens windows to people to show what's possible, or it opens windows that continue to empower people to say, hey, that's like my family also. So I think that when you start from that real and authentic place of making sure that you are telling a very authentic story, you really can't go wrong. And if you're also telling a story that is viscerally familiar to you, that forwards and backwards, it shows. Because instead of guessing or making something up, you're speaking from history, you're speaking from a place of authority and authenticity, and that's important.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would just add, it would just be that I think the idea of filming, part of it in New Orleans, we also filmed in Mississippi, and basing the story with a real person. This woman, Loretta, she had this company, Loretta's Pralines. And, when we went into her praline shop, we knew she's a New Orleans icon. We wanted to incorporate her in the story. And, you feel her spirit in the story. And I think that's something that's really a unique part of the film as well.
And she had the opportunity to visit set before she passed, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Tim, you were going to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think, I've been doing this, I've been blessed to have been doing this now for a few decades. And I think one of the main things is you got to love your work. And I love what I'm doing. And whenever I get a chance to do it, it's a blessing and I have fun with it. The other part, I guess, in acting is my late friend, the late Norman Fell, he used to say the key to acting is sincerity. And if you can fake that, you can do anything. So that's kind of how I go to work. Let's see what I can do today.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much. You guys did such a great job. And I loved all of the soul, all of the stuff that you added in there. I mean, it's just a beautiful film. So congratulations.
Thank
you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Monica. Up next, we have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nye from EUR Web. Nye?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. My question is for Keshia. Keshia, what would you say is the heartbeat of this film and the message you hope viewers are left talking about after watching it?
It's really about family. I feel like it's about family, but I also feel like it's about, when we speak of authenticity, so often we forget that the authenticity first lives within us, and ensuring that we are being the best and truest versions of ourselves. And so often, many of us put on different masks and do things out of obligation or, for a variety of different reasons. But I think that this film really gets to the heart of family, and also just being true to who you are and what you desire, and not living and moving in a space of fear.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Nye. Up next, we have Suzanne. Suzanne, please unmute.
Hi. I have two relatively unimportant questions because all of my others were asked already. But
Suzanne, don't do that.
Did you get to hear Patty sing it all on set? And how many pralines were actually consumed?
Oh, a lot of pralines, let me tell you. A lot of takes of pralines. And yes, not only did I'll let y'all, but not only did Miss Patty LaBelle sing, but we had some fans who liked to join in as well.
Fans were very excited that Miss Patty was there, and extras. There were a lot of takes of extras just staring at her, and we couldn't use shots because they were just like, and there's I had a praline probably breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day when we shot, but
nobody's counting.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. Up next, we have Rick Bentley. Rick?
Thank you. Hey, Tim, this is not your first time doing with a project that has New Orleans as a backdrop. I'm thinking about Treme and the very underappreciated Frank's Place. And I'm just wondering what it is about the city that makes this so different than as if it had been a New York Noel or a New Mexico Noel.
Well, New Orleans is unto itself. I've been blessed to travel a great deal, and I've yet to go to a place that's anything like New Orleans, no matter where it is, France or whatever. New Orleans is unto itself. And my first experience there was way back in the 70s when the Playboy Club was then there. And if you ask me to name the top 5 or top 10 times in my life where I had the most fun, 3 of them would be New Orleans. It's just a wonderful place to have fun. And we started doing Frank's Place. We wanted to be authentic because you don't really get trapped into what the elements. You really want to bring the culture out front. It's everywhere you breathe. You just walk down the street and there's such history. So anytime I see the word New Orleans or something associated with it, I'm there and always a fan of the place. It's a most unusual place.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
New Mexico Noel has the same ring to it.
Same ring.
Awesome. Thank you, Rick. We have our last 2. First up is Luann, and then we'll go into Jay thereafter. Luann?
Yeah, it's actually Luann. Keshia, I can't imagine working with my husband. So what are some of the areas that you usually agree? And what are some of the areas that you often disagree on?
Let's see. I mean, quite frankly, we kind of usually see eye to eye on most things. We may have a different way of expressing it or a different way of communicating it. But I think the good thing is that we know how to pull the best out of each other. So, you know, no matter what, like I know what and how to say it and vice versa to get the desired outcome. I'm trying to think. Did I answer the question?
Are there areas that you disagree on?
Yeah, I mean, people with being people, you're going to disagree about stuff, but I can't think of anything. Like, we don't really have, like, our communication style isn't one that is in any way combative. So even if we don't agree with something, it's normally a path of talking it through or talking it out. Or what would you say?
Well, just to add to that, we met, you know, we really connected in the workspace.
Yeah, we did.
So we connected under, hey, you get it, I get it.
Yeah.
Let's get it, you know.
More ways than one. Just kidding. No. You know, it's like, but you set me up for that one. Sorry. I mean, I don't know, for you guys working with us, how was that experience? Like, how would you?
You want to answer this on the air?
Well, you know, having been married to someone in our business now, this will be our 40th year, which in human years, it's quite a bit of time.
Human years, a long, long time.
But we working together, I have to say I was pleasantly surprised at how you guys relate to one another on the set. That's one of the hardest things to do, especially if there is a leadership role change, like if one is the producer, there's the actor, or one is the writer or director, which I have been in a situation with my wife. Finding a way to work together is it's not always easy. And you know, I look at Brad, I'm going, he's already got the key. Just sit back and say, yes, dear. You got years coming, man. You'll make 40.
Thank you for the advice. That works.
Yes, I do.
See, there you go. He's got
it. That's funny.
You know, one other thing is that we take care of each other.
Yeah.
You know, and we do it with everyone on set. You know, we're always looking out. Keshia's looking out for everyone that's making this movie happen, because you know it happens as a result of people. So one thing that we do, I think, is we pay attention to each other and fill needs.
Mm-hmm. And they have great chemistry, which is really nice, because you know that doesn't always happen. It's like you knew day one that, you know, and you can see it on screen, so that's really nice about it too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Luann. Lastly, we have Jay Bobbin. Jay?
Thank you. Tim, for you, on the subject of being an icon, Venus Flytrap is such an iconic icon to so many, iconic character, I should say, to so many of us. Having done that early in your career and showing you could do something that flashy, does it make it easier in any way now to play, quote unquote, an everyday person?
No, not really. I mean, at that time, you have to put things in context. What made Venus a bit stand out was the times and when that character was about. I mean, you had to fight for everything. I mean, I literally became the first Black actor allowed to wear a beard on television in prime time. Ed Bradley was after that. And then I was also the first Black character allowed to wear an earring. Who knew that was going to lead to 9, 10 earrings now? But it was always a fight in the context of things, because it was so different. Nowadays, actors are very fortunate. There's so much work and so many interesting stories to be told that you kind of go in, you do your homework, you find out about the context of the times, the setting, and you kind of just move into it and become part of the presentation. But I'm glad to see so many different roles, so many different stories being told, because it really makes an actor even love the work that much more.
Yeah.
Thank you.